Imagine two people sitting at the same table. They eat exactly the same dish, in the same quantity, at the same time. Rice, beans, something simple. A few hours later, one of them has stable energy, is calm and functioning normally. The other feels sleepy, weak, hungry again, and when her glucose is measured, the number is way up. Scary. And the most dangerous part? Neither of them realized at the time what really happened inside the body. Now, let me tell you something that can completely change the way you view food. It's not just what you eat, it's how you combine it when you eat it, and what you do afterward that determines whether your blood sugar will spike or stay under control. And that's exactly where most people are going wrong every day, thinking they're doing everything right. Before we continue, do this. Comment below if you or someone in your family has ever had problems with high blood sugar. This helps many more people see this video. While you're at it, leave a like, because what you're about to understand could literally save you years of silent problems. And stay with me until the end, because the last point is what almost no one does, and it may be the most powerful of all. Now pay attention. Whenever you eat any food with carbohydrates, it could be rice, bread, fruit, or even something considered healthy, your body breaks it down into glucose. This glucose enters the bloodstream, and that's where a silent but vital player comes in: insulin. It acts like a key, opening the doors of the cells so that glucose can enter and be converted into energy. The problem starts when this happens too quickly. When glucose levels rise like a rocket, the body needs to release a large amount of insulin all at once. And when this happens every day, the body starts to become resistant. The key no longer works so well. Glucose begins to stagnate in the blood. And that's when the silent damage begins. Blood vessels, nerves, organs, everything being affected little by little, without pain, without warning. Now comes the part that almost no one explains to you. There are common, simple foods that can slow down this process, protect your body, and even help reverse this cycle when used correctly. One of them is probably in your kitchen right now, and you may never have given it a second thought. Fenugreek seeds. Small, unassuming, but extremely powerful. When consumed correctly, it creates a kind of gel in the digestive system that slows down the absorption of sugar. It's like putting a speed bump on the entry of glucose into the bloodstream. The result? No violent spikes. Everything happens gradually and in a controlled manner. And it doesn't stop there. It also helps your body respond better to insulin. In other words, it's not just about controlling blood sugar, it's about improving how your body handles it. Many people who start using it regularly notice less hunger throughout the day, less craving for sweets, and more stable energy. Now think about it. How many times have you felt that sudden hunger just a few hours after eating? That sugar craving that seems impossible to control? This isn't a lack of discipline. Often it's your body reacting to sudden drops in glucose after a spike. And that's where another powerful ally comes in: Jamun seed powder. Little known outside of certain cultures, but extremely effective. It acts right at the beginning of digestion, slowing down the enzymes that transform carbohydrates into sugar. In other words, the problem is addressed before it even starts. In addition, it protects the pancreas, which is basically the control center for glucose in your body. Over time, this makes a huge difference. Because it's not enough to just lower sugar today, you need to protect the system that controls that tomorrow. Now let me show you something even more interesting. An ingredient you probably use almost every day, but never imagined it had this impact. Cinnamon. But it's not about mindlessly sprinkling cinnamon on everything. What it does inside the body is much more profound. It improves insulin sensitivity. Simply put, it helps that switch work better again. The cells begin to respond better, glucose enters more easily, and the level in the blood begins to stabilize. And there's more. It also reduces glucose production by the liver. This is crucial, especially for those with high fasting glucose. It's like attacking the problem from multiple angles at once. Now get this. There's an ingredient that many people simply throw away from their plate, completely ignore, but it may be one of the most important of all: the curry leaf. It helps the body use glucose more efficiently, protects pancreatic cells, and also contributes to reducing the accumulation of fat in the liver, something directly linked to insulin resistance. In other words, it not only helps in the present but addresses the root of the problem. Do you see the pattern here? We're not talking about miracle solutions. We're talking about small, consistent actions that, over time, completely change the scenario. And this is where most people fail. They want quick results, but ignore the power of consistency. Diabetes doesn't appear overnight, and it doesn't go away overnight either. But every choice you make today is defining how your body will function tomorrow. Now tell me something. Does everything you're hearing make sense to you? If so, comment here. I'm going to start. This creates a commitment to yourself. And most importantly, you don't have to do everything at once. Start simple. One habit, then another. Small changes made every day have a much greater impact than big changes made for a short period of time. Now, before we finish, I need to tell you something important. Besides diet, there are specific supplements that can greatly accelerate this process and help control glucose more efficiently. I've included a link in the video description to some of the best supplements currently used for those who want to manage their glucose levels more comprehensively. It's definitely worth checking out later. If this content resonated with you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Because here we talk about exactly that: health in a practical, simple way that really works in everyday life. Leave a comment, share this with someone who needs to see it, because you can literally help someone else avoid serious problems in the future. And thank you so much for watching this far. Now, go ahead and click on one of the videos that are appearing on your screen, because the next one might be exactly what you need to take the next step.